Hi everyone, it's David from Craft Obsessions with a quick demo video to show you a great technique to use with the fabulous new Stick It die cut adhesive. You'll probably already know that Stick It die cut adhesive is available on our website now. Basically it comes in two different sheet sizes. We've got 8 by 6 inches, or the handy size as we call it, and also the large 12 1/4 by 8 inches wide. We've made this 12 1/4 length so that it's big enough to cover all of the large things like decorative strip dies and some of the A4 dies that are available in the market now. So if you want to incorporate those in your project, it's very easy to be able to use the full length of adhesive on your die when you cut it. Both sizes are available in packs of 5 sheets, and as I say, they're now available on our website. The product itself, Stick It, is a micro thin double-sided adhesive sheet. You can see how pliable it is. It's not really that much heavier than a conventional piece of photocopy paper, so it really is quite light. The majority of the weight of the sheet is actually made up from the silicone release paper on both sides of the product. The actual coating of adhesive inside is incredibly thin, but also very hard. It needs to be hard because of the incredible forces that are exerted by die cutting machines in the process of die cutting, that you don't want the adhesive to be soft so that it squidges out the corners, bleeds over onto your equipment or your dies, and also when you're finished with your project, you don't want any unsightly bits of adhesive sticking out from the intricate sections that spoil the overall appearance. So it's basically been designed specifically for die cutting, as opposed to being an adhesive product that you can also use for die cutting. You'll see with the straight areas that run across the width of the sheet that we've also incorporated some crack back easy peel areas, so it's easy to grip the backing paper to pull it away from the adhesive when you're using it. And we've positioned those in a couple of different areas on the sheet, and it's the same on the big sheet as well, so that whatever size you end up cutting for your particular project, you'll always have, or more often than not, you'll always have an area that you can use the crack back to remove the silicone release paper. If you don't, for example, if you were just to use a small corner in the back here, the backing paper really comes away very easily from the adhesive, so it's not the end of the world if you don't have a crack back piece, and I'll show you in a couple of minutes how easy it is to remove the cover from the adhesive anyway. So that's the product, and here is the project. So hopefully you can see a really nice layer of ultrafine glitter on this die cut. This particular die cut is the Elise tree by Memory Box, which I think is a beautiful Christmas die, nice and intricate, and it's exactly the kind of thing that Stick It was developed for. Because the adhesive is so thin, it's not a problem to put a layer of adhesive on both the front and the back of the cardstock, which is what we're going to do now, and I'll show you how we achieve that effect. So I've basically pre-cut a piece of cardstock and 2 pieces of Stick It, one for the front, one for the back, and all we're going to do now is basically apply the adhesive to the cardstock like so. Something that you'll find with Stick It is it's so incredibly easy to apply neatly to the cardstock. You know, with some double-sided tapes and some double-sided sheets that I've used, it's easy to get into a real tangled mess when you're laying particularly a bigger area of adhesive on a project. But you can see just a light touch with my finger, rubbing that across, there's no bubbles or creases or anything like that. It's just a real nice smooth finish, and in fact once you've put the adhesive on, if you feel the edge of it, it's hard to actually tell that the adhesive is there because it's so thin. It's almost non-existent. So again, turn the cardstock over, do the other side, peel off the backing paper. I made that look a little bit more difficult than it needed to be, but I am just a man. And there we go, light touch of the finger over the top, smooth it down, and peel the backing paper away as you go. And that's it. That's as difficult as it is. So you know, it's really straightforward, and as I say, just smooth it over so it's nice and flat. Because the good thing about it is, because it's a nice even coating. It makes die cutting a lot easier. One other thing that, if you like, as a little tip, as a byproduct here, the silicone release paper, I've been keeping these to one side, some of the bigger pages, bigger sheets particularly, and then just occasionally run my dies through with the silicone release paper. It's a great way of just helping condition your dies to make your cardstock pop out of the die a lot easier. So just keep those to one side and occasionally run them through your machine with a die, and you'll condition your dies as well. So another little tip there for you. So all we're going to do now is die cut on our well-worn, well-used Big Shot machine, and we're just basically going to put the die on top of the cardstock. You can see I haven't sort of left a huge area around the side of the die, so you can keep your wastage down to sort of a minimum when you're using Stick It. You don't need to use a big sheet every time you die cut. Feed it through the machine, and what I like to do, run it through a couple of times just to make sure that everything is nice and cut through. So hopefully you'll see here that the whole thing has cut through quite easily, the whole length of the die. And if you think about it, the cool thing about this is there's actually 5 layers here that the die has actually cut through. There's the silicone release paper, then there's adhesive, then there's cardstock, then on this side there's adhesive and another coating of silicone release paper. So there's basically 5 layers that the die's just cut through, and you can do that because Stick It is so incredibly thin. So all we're going to do now is just remove the die cut from the die, and it's just a simple question of poking out an area, and look how easy that is to pull that away from the die. Clean that up later. You might end up with a couple of little areas that you need to poke out. Sort of the curse of die cutting, really. We all have to endure that little bit. But it's quite therapeutic in a way. Although I do need glasses on to be able to see what I'm doing. Old age is a terrible thing. So basically we just pop those bits out of the way, and then we've got our intricate die cut with adhesive on the front and also on the back. So I said earlier about removing the backing paper. It's very easy to do, and what I'll do, if I hold this up to the camera so you can see it, but all I'm going to do with a pokey tool, I'm just going to scratch the surface, and you see how easy that came away? So it's not very difficult to peel apart once you've die cut. You know, you don't have to sort of get to the end and try and prise it apart with your fingernails. It's very easy to do. And then I'm just going to lay this flat and just tease the backing paper away from the die cut, and it's no more difficult than that. You see, it comes away easier. The adhesive doesn't grab onto the backing paper. It's a tacky adhesive, but it's formulated in such a way that the release paper really does come away very easily, so it's not difficult. And you'll see now you've got a really nice even coating of adhesive all the way over your intricate die cut, with no additional little areas where the adhesive hasn't cut. So the adhesive is cut the same as the cardstock. And now all we're going to do is lay this on a piece of card, piece of white card. I'm going to lay that down as straight as we can. If you don't manage to lay it down straight first time, as remarkably I've managed to do, don't worry, the adhesive is repositionable. You can peel off, reposition without causing any damage to the area underneath the die cut. The adhesive will become permanent over time, but for the period that you're working with it, it's not a problem. Just make sure that goes down okay. Just pop out this little bit there that I didn't notice was still in the design. So there we go. So die cut, stuck on the card, still have an adhesive layer over the front, and all I'm going to do again, and I'll show you nice and close again, all I'm going to do is just scrape away, and you see how easy that comes off. Scrape away at the backing paper, and again tease the backing paper away from the die cut. You might have a couple of little areas that you need to scrape again, but it really is dead easy to pick it off. It's not a problem to lift the adhesive, silicone release paper off the adhesive, it comes away nice and easily. It's a little trickier removing the backing paper when it's stuck down like this, because you can't naturally bend the die cut as you remove the paper. So, but you can see, albeit I'm making a bit of a fist of it, it's easy just to peel the paper away. And sometimes you'll find it just comes off in one whole piece, and other times you might have to just fiddle with it a little bit, as I'm doing now. And I've got the added pressure of doing a video, which I don't normally do. So just one more piece, peel that off. So we've now got a nice even adhesive coating on the front of the die cut that we can now apply some glitter. I find on particularly intricate designs like this, the finer the glitter, the better. This is Stickle's dry fine glitter diamond, which I think gives a lovely sheen to everything, like so. And all we're going to do is just quickly rub over the glitter, make sure it's stuck over all of the areas of the die cut, and guess who's going to be covered with glitter for the rest of the day? I'll just give that a little bit of a flick, a quick brush around the edges, and you'll see a beautiful intricate die covered with glitter. Just get rid of the excess like that. Voila! Not bad for a guy, eh? And here's the one we did earlier. So just laid on a piece of card, some debossed lines around the outside, a little stamp wishing Merry Christmas or whatever your greeting of choice is, and there we go. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.